Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. So there are many angles that I can talk about what I'm going to talk about here, right? And I have this theory. I have this theory that most sales organizations hate their top salespeople, right? In every company, there's essentially a hierarchy where the people who don't do the work are on top. So, for example, if you're a coach, not supposed to play basketball. Makes sense, right? And then there are people who believe in the mission, right? There are people who believe in the mission, and they're there to do what the mission, you know, says that we should do, right? Like if I had a football team and nobody played football or even cared about playing football, that would be like the weirdest thing ever. But unfortunately, I don't know if you ever heard of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but once you have food and shelter, people care about things like their ego, and they don't care about necessarily helping others achieve their potential, right? And they care more about protecting their own ego. And so, what happens in many sales organizations is that people who actually reach the top of, let's say, the quote pyramid in sales realize almost kind of like they're a target, right? And I remember I first had this experience when I was trying to sell life insurance and I got yelled at for making a sale, even though they told me that, hey, you're supposed to actually have your own production and start making sales. They literally told us that. And then I was going to, okay, I'm going to start making some sales. And then I got yelled at for it. And then because here's the thing, my life insurance career didn't really take off just because when people said that they were going to, quote, mentor me, I actually believed them. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, if you tell me you're going to do something, why wouldn't you do it? But a lot of people, they're not intentional and they like to waste your time, right? And so, what's really crazy is about a lot of sales organizations is that I don't know how they survive, right? Because in order to make money in this society, you have to sell some sort of product or service, and so if you have an organization dedicated to sales and you actually don't like it if your top salesperson is selling, and I've heard people like Myron Golden say like, "Hey, I made MLMs a ton of money and they were trying to figure out ways to cut my commission, so I left them." Right? And I'm going to actually go over another video on YouTube, someone you probably don't know. I just thought it was really interesting, and it's kind of going to go over the 48 laws of power. But what happens, I think, is the reason why most sales organizations hate their top salespeople is because if one person makes too many sales, then the people on top think that makes them look bad, right? And that kind of refers to rule number one: never outshine the master. Now, what was interesting is I came across this YouTube video by David Duford. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's apparently a big name in the final expense insurance market, right? And his agency is like I think called the Dig Agency. And there's a video here. I'll probably post a link to it called the Insurance MLM Cult. And how do you know you're in one, right? So there's this guy named Kyle Studer that's being interviewed, and apparently he was a top salesman in a I don't know if it's an insurance MLM, but to be honest, all insurance companies these days are kind of like MLM. But basically, he was like, "Oh, I believe in the mission," and he was trying to inspire people. And then one of the executives, and you should listen to his interview, was like, "Yeah, we actually just take advantage of naive salesmen or something like that." Like he was making a lot of production, right? So what's funny is if you had this experience before where you're actually on top of your game, and again, I was never on top of my game in insurance, but I've been in my top of my game in other things that I've been interested in. You'll realize a lot of people don't like you, right? Because they think you make them look bad, right? Is that kind of sad? So, and me having this experience over and over again, and somehow whipping out the book, The 48 Laws of Power. You know what's funny? I think other people had that experience too, and I'll tell you why. If you look at this article, not the article, this YouTube video, he actually is talking about like his experiences, and then during the interview, he literally whips out the 48 Laws of Power right here, right? Like, well, right here, the 48 Laws of Power. He's just doing the interview, and let me just kind of go to here. I don't think I'm playing the audio, but look how he just kind of whips it out. Oh, whoopsie. Let me get rid of this ad, and I don't like to play audio, but where he's like doing the interview and then he's like talking about it, and let me put some subtitles, right? And they're talking about like fair compensation and all that. But during the interview, he's like literally just pulling out the 48 laws of power. Actually, did I go back too far? Let me go. It's 101. Okay. So let's just kind of wait a little bit here. Yeah, I probably went back too far. Yeah, and then he's just, he's doing interview, he's listening, and then during the interview about, the insurance industry, and again, this guy apparently was a top salesman, and I think he is independent in the insurance industry, and then he just whips out that 48 laws of power during the middle of the interview. I just thought that was hilarious, right? Like this right here. It's a book called 48 Laws of Power. Right? And he was like, I don't know if he was like kind of like taken aback or something, or maybe just got distracted. But he's telling you like you need to read it to kind of understand the environment that you're in. Now, what's the point of this video? The point is that if you're gonna be the top whatever it is in your field, just be aware that you're not necessarily going to get rewarded for it, right? I was never a top salesman. I was interested in sales because I understand that's how you make money. And I think most of the billionaires in the planet start in direct sales, right? And I've never had an interest in being a billionaire, but I know that if I learn like half of what most people don't know in sales, then I'll be successful. But one of the things that I thought was crazy is kind of like thinking in my head, is it just me or do most sales organizations hate their top salespeople, right? It's like being a football team and you hate the quarterback or the star. Why? Like it makes no sense. But yeah. So what do you think? Have you ever been in that position? Have you ever outshined the master? Oh, everybody knows that nothing good comes out of that. Well, all right. So this is Korean Atlanta mentorship, and yeah. So I here's the thing at the end of almost every video, I was always gonna say like, hey, click the link to the Google form below. I think I'm gonna pause that for maybe about a month or so I could just get my ducks in order and work on a few things. But hey, if you have any things that you want to talk about, maybe you leave a comment below, and then once that Google form is ready, I'll just open it up again when I'm ready. All right, well, have a great day, everybody, and we will speak next time.